This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine.
Hi, friends. I'm Carrie Jo, and this is Holy Chuckles Podcast. This is a space for honest faith, lived experiences, and shining a light in the places we've learned to hide. I'm not here to explain faith. I'm here to live it out loud. So take a breath and let's make room for what's real. Welcome back to Holy Chuckles Podcast. I'm really glad you're here. I am still in verse 36. Still in verse 36. I've been in this verse now for a couple of weeks, and it is really something I'm having to work on. I didn't realize how much control had a hold on me. I didn't realize how unsafe I felt in a world that I couldn't control. I don't know, is that normal for everyone or is that just me? I'm really working through this control. And I've had many conversations with God as I just laugh. I can see why God put me right here in the place that I'm in. Because when I was by myself, where I could have everything how I wanted it, I didn't see that control still had a grip on me. I didn't see that I wasn't allowing God to work fully, entirely in my whole life. Yes, I was allowing God to work within me and I was allowing God to lead me, but I still had a grip on some things. And now being in this environment, I can see how that grip is still trying to take control again. That grip comes out, says, do you want me to take it? Do you want me to help you? I have to continuously slap that grip away and say, no, I got this. I'm okay. I am just in awe of how this control has such a hold on me and how I'm having to loosen it. It's like I'm having to loosen it finger by finger so that way it can fully let go. And honestly, in these verses, I feel like I've been letting things flow, accepting things, changing things, and doing it pretty consistently. And as I see I'm in a verse and working in my life with that verse, then I'm moving on to the next verse. This verse said, nope. I honestly thought by this time in April, I would be in chapter 3. In fact, I was excited to be in chapter 3. And here I am still. 1 Samuel chapter 2, verse 36. In this verse, the unnamed man tells Eli, then everyone left in your family line will come down and bow down before him for a piece of silver and a loaf of bread and plead. Everyone will come and bow down begging. That is this control. What once had authority over me, control, fixing everything, managing everything, it's now showing up saying, let me back in. Let me help you. Because what I was doing earlier was I was controlling my environment. I was managing people. I was making things work. I was literally engaging in every inconsistency, trying to make things fair, speaking up, hoping that things would change. But I was doing that so I could feel safe. Those are the things that would make me safe. If everybody was okay, if everything was okay, if every situation was fair, then I would feel safe. But that's not the world. That's not how the world works. And I can't control everything to feel safe. And when I try to control everything, then my world stays very, very small. When I try to control everything, I'm telling God, I got this. There's nothing you have to do. And I keep my world so small because I can't control a big world. I can only control something very small. And in my mind, I understand if I let go and let God, my world is going to be safe no matter how small or how large. But it's not just my mind that's involved in this, it's also my nervous system. And my nervous system is catching up because for my whole life, I have had to control every situation, every environment to feel safe. My nervous system doesn't trust me yet. My nervous system says, yeah, we've done this before. No, I don't think so. I'm going to go ahead and keep my grip. So every day I'm having to change the way that I do things, and I'm having to show my nervous system that everything's going to be okay. We are changing indefinitely. We are allowing God to lead our lives, and we're going to be safe no matter what. But see, I've done this in my past. And then I took back control. So my nervous system is like, hey, remember that little boy that cried wolf? I'm not doing that with you. I'm just having again and again and again to show my nervous system we are okay. We are making these changes indefinitely. Now I'm working on not managing people, not fixing everything, not chasing, not forcing. I'm no longer saying, why are things like this? This isn't right. Let me say something. Then I'm frustrated and I'm turning that frustration into engagement. And then that engagement is turning into an argument. Instead of saying, you know what? Let me make a spot that I can exist in while I'm learning this, because this is part of it. This is part of letting the control go. I thought about something this morning. When I was working, I used to be in operations, and I was in operations in healthcare. Every day we had different issues, we had different problems, but in those days, everything was solved. And I loved that job in operations because I started the day and I could end the day and see the ending. We schedule a patient, we verify the insurance, we contact the patient, everything is good to go. The patient comes in, we see the patient, we do the paperwork, we get the radiology report, we send it to the physician, we do our billing at the end of the day, and everything is done. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Those things were completed. I didn't understand why I liked that job so much because I could see the ending every single day, the completion. And so it gave me control. In 2015, my job changed within that same company, and it was credentialing and contracting. That was so hard for me to change into because nothing completed. You had to wait on other people. Literally, you're just waiting. When I first started in that position, I hated it. I hated it so much. I didn't realize until today it was because I could not see the completion. And when I could see the completion, I felt safe. But in that job, I was having to rely on other people doing their parts to see the completion. And I did not like that. I didn't like waiting. I didn't like depending on other people because what if? What if they didn't do it? What if they didn't know how to do it? What if they weren't fast enough? It was always the what ifs, and that kept my nervous system up in arms because I needed control to feel safe. I realized this morning that's exactly what I'm going through now. It's not depending on other people. It's letting the control go and knowing that I'm still safe. And it's something that I continuously have to remind myself that control, you have no authority over me. And I'm safe in saying that. And I'm safe in moving forward. And I'm safe in letting that control grip go. There's that Janet Jackson song, Control. And I know it's about a relationship. When she says, Control, what have you done for me lately? That one word in front of that sentence has been playing in my mind. And it's so accurate. Control, what have you done for me lately? And it's nothing. You've done nothing for me lately. In fact, control has done nothing for me my whole life but keep me small. Control has done nothing for me my whole life but keep me in fear. And realizing that has allowed me to see how small my world has been. Having to stay in control has allowed me over these past couple of weeks to see how I've kept myself stuck, how I've kept myself in these loops, in these patterns, because they're the only things I knew how to control. And as I'm releasing this control, I'm seeing the world, my life, things around me in a different way. In fact, I'm seeing this verse in a different way. At the beginning of this episode, I said I'm still in verse 36. And maybe that's not how I should have viewed it, because I'm not stuck in verse 36. I'm actively watching my old identity lose control over me. Because right here, right now, in this space, just right now in this new space that I'm in, I'm not trying to fix the space anymore. I'm finding life inside a space that doesn't match me. Isn't that the world that we're living in? Isn't that what we're doing every single day? We're finding our own life inside a space that doesn't match us. And what better tool to use to do that than God? Even God said that. Why aren't you using me, Carrie Joe? Why are you trying to do this by yourself? I can see things you can never see. And I hear those things and I say, but wait, God, let me try one more time. Let me just see if I can do it. And I just envision God in my head going, meh, okay, go ahead. Let me know how that works out for you. And at 50 years old, I'm coming back to God saying, you know, I tried this on my own. I tried to see if I could control everything. I tried to see if I could control a life inside a space that doesn't match me, and I can't. And God didn't say, I know, or I knew you'd be back. God said, come here, come here. Let me hold you for a minute. Let me just take that weight off of you. And God's been holding me through all of this. Even when I try to go back and control things, God doesn't tell me I told you so. God says, come here. Let me hold you. Let's take a breath together. I know it's been hard, and I know you have tried your best, and I know you're only trying to do what you know how to do, but it's not working, and you have to let go. I know that letting go is so scary. I know not being able to see what's in front of you just brings so much fear to you, but it's going to be okay because I'm not going to let you fall. It's going to be okay because I can see all the things that you can't, and I'm going to lead you. I'm not going to let anything happen to you. And trying to be okay with that is very difficult for someone who has used control for safety. Every day is getting better for me. And every day I tell God, I'll stay in verse 36 for as long as it takes, because I don't want to go back to who I used to be. I want to live in the vast world that God has for me, but I can't live there if I'm not willing to allow God to work 100% in my life. If I'm not willing to allow God to lead 100% in my life. If I still have to have control, then the world that I'm going to live in is going to be a small world, because the capabilities that I have to control and make myself feel safe can only be done in a small environment. I have to be willing to let that control lose complete authority and let God have complete authority, or my world stays exactly like it is, small. Right now, I'm doing okay finding life inside this small space that doesn't match me. But I'm not willing to stay here for the rest of my life, because I've told myself and I've told God, I want to be in this vast world, in every part of this world, this large world that doesn't match me. But the only way that I can do that and feel safe is to allow God to have full control, because God can see everything that I can't. And God will always keep me safe, even if I'm in a space that doesn't match me.